Hello, everyone, and welcome to Microbes at Work, a podcast from the experts at JGL Solutions. I'm your host, Tyler Kern. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the podcast. Now, today we're introducing you to Cleargistix, an excellent partner of JGL Solutions, whose mission is to digitally transform the oil and gas industry. And really, one of the things that stands out about Cleargistix is they and JGL Solutions have the same goal of really providing innovative and sustainable and effective solutions to the oil and gas industries. And so allow me to introduce Stephen Toups. He is the president and CEO of Cleargistix. Stephen, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Tyler. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thrilled to have you on today. And so, Stephen, I talked a little bit about what Cleargistix does, but give us an introduction to your company and tell us a little bit more about what your goals are in the oil and gas industry.
Sure. So we were founded really with the mission in mind of helping oil field companies become more efficient and effective through the use of digital technologies, replacing the paper and spreadsheet documentation of items in the field. So our company was really started based upon an experience that I had where I was the chief financial officer for an oil field services company in Midland, Texas for about 4.5 years. And what I saw was the great use of paper to document activities in the field. So our folks were filling out paper service tickets, paper JSAs, paper inspection documents, paper payroll forms, paper expense reports, et cetera. And dealing with all this paper caused a great amount of inefficiencies. So I actually tried to find something that our folks could use that had 3 very important criteria. So had to be flexible, had to be very, very, very configurable, work the way that we worked, and then had to be very easy to use, very field user friendly, because ultimately that was going to define the success of any project. And I really couldn't find anything. And that experience indirectly led to the founding of Cleargistix.
I really like that personal story and how you took what you were experiencing from your position and said, you know what, no one's doing this, so it's going to be me. I'm going to go out and create this. And I suppose when I think about using paper for everything the way you were, not only is that inefficient, but also not entirely sustainable, right? And also, if you're anything like me, papers can tend to get misplaced from time to time, which leads to a lot of different issues.
Oh, definitely. The problems with using paper aren't just the documentation. Mm-hmm. It's the entire workflow that is designed around the paper. And so, and I tell people that when we're talking to them, so a typical workflow is the piece of paper gets filled out in the field. Then it gets brought back into the office so somebody can price that ticket out. Then that price ticket, you need to wait to the end of the job, and then you have to go find somebody from your customer to go approve it. So a lot of times it's driving around the oil field looking for, as they call him, the oil field, the company man, to approve it. Then it gets brought back into the office where it is invoiced, put into the company's invoicing system, and then it is uploaded into the customer's invoicing system. And so what you have is, if things were going well, you've got 30 days between when the work was done and when you finally got it in a position where you can bill your customer for it. So that is one of just the absolute great inefficiencies. And if you multiply that 30-day period and realize that not only does that service ticket have that 30-day period, but the JSA does, and the expense report does, and the payroll form does. So lots of inefficiencies caused by using paper and spreadsheets to document stuff in the field.
So that seems to be an example of a major inefficiency that Cleargistix helps overcome. Talk me through some other inefficiencies that you can help remedy and some maybe other efficiencies that Cleargistix can help create using your solutions.
Yeah, so as we're a startup, and so you learn a lot about your product, your solution, and how your customers see it and use it. And one of the biggest benefits that we deliver is something that I call information peace of mind. So and we give our customers information peace of mind because they know that their data, which is in Cleargistix, they know how it was captured. They know the workflow that it went through in order to be captured. And they know how, we move that data into one of their back-end systems. So, one of the CFO for a customer of ours, when I was talking to him about, hey, how are we doing? He said, Stephen, I would go to an operations meeting and have one set of numbers given to me, a financial meeting and given another set of numbers, and then go meet with our business analysts and give another set of numbers. And I didn't know which sets of those numbers were accurate, true, etc. He said, now that we're using Cleargistix, everything's in one place. I understand how everything was gathered. I can go see it at any point in time. And so we completely eliminated wondering what was the right set of data. Because now there's only one set of data that's right, and it's the data that we have inside of Cleargistix. So that really is something that, you don't consider, because when you're on paper, as you said, paper gets lost. It gets misplaced. It gets, the handwriting's bad on it. You can't tell if this is a 3 or an 8. So now I got to pick up the phone and go try to call someone who's not at that job site anymore, is at another job site. And, the amount of emails, text messages, phone calls, etc., that were necessary to support this paper data collection environment, again, just causes a tremendous amount of inefficiencies out in the field. I used to joke with folks that the 2 days you didn't want to be in our office at our company in Midland was the day we sent invoices out and the day we processed payroll, because it was a fire drill. Hey, we got to get it in by 3, and it's noon and we're still missing information from X, Y, and Z, and all of those things are just tremendously inefficient, not only for the folks in the office, but for the folks in the field, because now they're getting they're on another job site and they're getting a phone call from someone asking them about stuff that they may have documented 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's a great point. When I think about the way that the rest of our world and society operates, it all operates in real time. Things are always being constantly updated and changed. And yes, it seems that having information that can update in real time for oil field companies seems like it would be a massive advantage, and something that it would be a hugely beneficial thing for them, because the world nowadays is so used to everything just operating and updating in real time that oil companies need that.
Yeah. And so it's a great point. And ultimately, the information that we're collecting, a lot of it is going to wind up in our customers' systems. So the oil field operators that our customers work for. And the ability, as from our customers' perspective, to get information clean and fast into their customers is very, very, very important, because what the paper not only affects the service companies and contractors out there in the oil field, it affects the operators as well, because it's 30, 60, 90 days before they see actually what went on in the field for work that was being done on their behalf. So we believe that it is really a competitive advantage to be able to interact with your customers on a digital basis, to be able to get things approved digitally, to be able to get the information to them digitally. And we believe that the companies that are using Cleargistix, it gives them a leg up in dealing with their customers, because they can, one of our customers that's in the oil field waste disposal business told us that, their customers were demanding increasingly complex information from them, and they had no ability to meet those requests and demands outside of using Cleargistix. And so now we help those customers better service their customers, and to become better partners with their customers.
So what have been maybe some of the largest challenges that you've come up against in your mission to really modernize and to digitally transform the oil and gas industry?
Yeah, so it's, our biggest competition, I tell people, is the way things are done now. paper and spreadsheets are our biggest competition. Mm-hmm. So there's a fraction of the oil field that is collecting information digitally out in the field. And that's the big advantage. You can't have someone write it down on paper, bring it to the office, and then key punch it in because you've lost time. Our customers, their field people are just like JGL. Their field people are actually documenting things in the field where the transaction's happening and instantaneously. And so in terms of kind of challenges for getting people to, kind of hop on the digital bandwagon, we spend a lot of time making our system as absolutely easier to use than paper out in the field. And once folks see that, once they can experience that, now again, this is change. We're going to take a piece of paper out of their hands and we're going to put a tablet, laptop, or phone in their hands that they're going to be using to document information through our system. And so there's a couple of things that we do to make that easier. The first thing that we do is we listen. We listen to our customers. We listen to their frustrations. We listen to their issues that they're having. And we configure our system around those issues that they're having, gathering information in the field. We make things more efficient. We make things move faster. Another thing that we do is we make the documentation of the information, either on a tablet, laptop, or phone, look as close as possible to that piece of paper that they've had in their hands for years. So there's a familiarity around what they're doing. One of the other things we do is we have a little paper button. So at any point in time, the person, to make sure they've got all the information the way that they always have, they can hit a button and up pops a PDF of exactly what their piece of paper would have looked like. So again, that is used to help folks make that transition from paper or spreadsheet-based gathering of information to digital gathering of information. And I'll tell you, one of the other things that we do, Tyler, that is very important is we start small, we pick up wins, and we move forward in terms of depth and breadth. But, the amount of change that's required, trying to do this in a baseball bat mentality where you're going to beat somebody over the head and say, hey, you're going to use this tomorrow. Momentum is such a big factor in managing change. And so the ability to build up that momentum and to, again, gather steam as we move forward. One of our largest customers we started, we had one user there. And that user liked it and told other people. And so the second person that went on said, hey, called his buddy up and said, man, this is great. This is really nice. And it saves me time. And that's a big deal. One of our customers that deploys technicians into the Gulf of Mexico, one of their senior technicians, said in the case study we did with them that we were saving him a half hour to an hour a day documenting information.
Wow.
And so that word spreads, and so we have people that, hey, I need to be trained on that because I want to save a half hour to an hour a day doing documentation.
That's a great point. And I also appreciate the way that you acknowledge that your industry and know the people that you're working with. And so you're not just going to immediately go and tell people, hey, you need to flip completely from what you've been doing and what has been working for you to a certain extent for such a long time to immediately going fully digital, and you're never going to have any interaction with this thing that you used to do, right? And I think that that's an important thing for people that are part of a digital transformation of any industry, really, is to acknowledge where you've been and try to make that transition as smooth as possible. Because people transition over to a digital solution and don't feel comfortable using it or don't feel like it caters to what they previously knew, then it doesn't matter how much time it could potentially save them, they're never going to get past that learning hurdle. So understanding your audience, I think, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and the other big change as a result of doing that is really adopting a digital mindset. So getting out of the paper mindset and adopting a digital mindset. So for example, things like in the paper mindset are, hey, we've got this ticket And when we get them printed, we print 20,000 copies of them. So I'm making a decision on the format of this item for the next 6 to 9 months. In our system, if, after the customer's been using it a couple of weeks, if they say, hey, what we'd really like to do is we'd really like to add this, we go in and add it. And then from then on, it's on the new ticket. So the ability to really transform that company, because you get a lot of, hey, what would be nice after people are using the system, they see its power, and we get some great suggestions from companies, from our customers, that usually start with, hey, what would be nice? We're doing this commission report that it's taken somebody in our payroll department a half a day to do. If we added this one data element to the Cleargistix ticket, well, then we could have Cleargistix do that report for us. And so we changed it, and we save a half a day every other week doing commission calculations. So it's that kind of buy-in, that kind of relationship that we have with our customers. So if something needs to change, we change it. And again, we love getting those, hey, what would be nice phone calls or emails because they generally lead to happier customers.
Absolutely. And you love that. You absolutely love that. Yeah. So Stephen, talk to us about the partnership that you have with JGL Solutions and how you're helping to optimize both their business and lab operations.
Yeah. And so, a lot of oil field companies, a lot of our customers, they have a need to gather financial information. So information that they're going to use to bill their customers. But they also have a need to gather other types of information out there in the field. And so whether that information is safety information, inspection information, or like in the case of JGL, lab report information. And so our ability to centralize all of that data in the context of what we call a job for that customer means that JGL isn't looking all over the place for information anymore. The same place the ticket is the same place their JSA is for that day, is the same place that their lab report information is going to be for that day. And everything is consolidated. It's in one place. It will be easier for them to get information to their customers from a lab perspective. It'll be easier for them to get information to their customers from a billing perspective. So really, it's a holistic approach to the gathering of the information digitally in the field. And then, from JGL's perspective, where the lab tests are being done as well. And so we can take all of that data and push it to where it needs to go. And whether that's a lab report we're pushing to their customer, whether it's a ticket that we're pushing to JGL's invoicing system to allow them to invoice their customer faster and more accurately. That is really the hallmark of what we're doing with JGL. So the centralization of that information, the standardization of the information, the ability to consistently collect the same information is, what we love doing with JGL and what we love doing with the rest of our customers.
And I mentioned this a little bit during the intro, but one of the things that I appreciate about your partnership is that you at Cleargistix and JGL both have this mindset and this idea of transforming the oil and gas industry in different ways and rethinking and innovating with new solutions. And I think that there's a real continuity between your two companies that I think really jives and probably makes working together a really beneficial partnership for both of you. Yes,
and JGL's been a great partner with us. We look forward to many, many years of that partnership because good partnerships start with a good collaboration, and we've had a great collaboration with JGL in getting their system set up, getting folks trained on that system, et cetera. And that's, you can't underestimate the amount of benefit you get when you have a true collaborative system that is set up. And we do, as I mentioned before, we do a lot of listening to our customers, because it is through that listening that we become better. We make our product better. As a matter of fact, this evening, we have a release going out that is a fairly substantial change in our user interface. And it was born out of a single customer that made a comment, hey, it would be nice if we did this. And we sat around that conference room table in my office right there, and we said, why didn't we think of that? And we have really fundamentally changed the way our system works. And it's going to save clicks, and it's going to save time, and it's going to be easier on the folks in the field who have that device in their hands that are using it to document information. And so that ability to listen is really a crucial part of the collaboration that we have with our customers. And from JGL's perspective, just understanding their desire to really fundamentally change what they're doing out in the marketplace. And what we are helping them do is really to use information as a strategic advantage. Mm-hmm. So when they go to their customers, they can say, hey, here are the things we can do for you in terms of getting you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, information on a very fast basis, on a timely basis, more accurately, et cetera. So that is right up our alley. And that's why our partnership with JGL has been fantastic, because we really both want to transform the way things are done in the oil field. And from our perspective, you got to wake up and start there. You got to wake up and start with, hey, we want to make this better. We have a very lean approach to what we do in terms of our solution, in terms of our implementation. And that lean approach is all about delivering to your customer exactly what they want and nothing more, making it very simple, but improving the process, make things go faster. Don't worry about extraneous information. Deliver to your customer exactly what they want. And if you do that, your customers are happy, and generally you'll be happy as well.
Absolutely. I think that's fantastic advice. And so, Stephen, as we begin to wrap up our conversation here today, I want to give you an opportunity just to share any final thoughts that you have, any closing remarks, anything you want to leave our audience with, or hope that they walk away with knowing about Cleargistix today. So let me turn it back over to you for any final closing thoughts here today.
Thank you. With a lot of software companies, especially a lot of oilfield software companies, it is crucial to really embrace the change management aspect of your implementations. It's important to embrace the change management aspects of your solution. And we are very experienced in leading our customers through that process, through that change management process. So we understand this isn't a, hey, here's the system, we're going to turn it on tomorrow, hope you guys are all right, call us if you have a problem. No, we form, just like we form with JGL, we form with all of our customers. We form a collaborative partnership where information is exchanged on both sides. We're not going to turn on some switch and then have you call an 800 number. No, we have good interactions with our customers throughout the process. Our implementation is an iterative process because, again, embracing that change management aspect, it is oftentimes you have to see it before kind of it sinks in your head. We can talk about digital tickets, we can talk about a lot of things, but as soon as someone sees it, they go, oh, I understand what we're doing now. And then the light bulbs are going off in their head. And then we can iteratively improve their configuration, their system, how their folks are going to use the system. And again, generally after a few weeks of the folks using it, we often get another set of really great ideas that we can go in, make some modifications, and again, improve the user experience even more. So, we don't have what I'd call a fire and forget implementation methodology. We have a real partnership implementation methodology where we work with our customers in identifying opportunities. We start small, we pick up wins, and we expand. And our customers have really liked that methodology.
So, Stephen, where can people find out more information about Cleargistix and maybe reach out if they have questions, if they want to learn more? What's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. Our website is www.cleargistix.com, just as it's spelled right behind my title there. And, all of our contact information is on there. We have a contact us form that you can fill out, get a demo, or actually you can go on the website and watch a cam demo. So you can either get a live demo or you can watch a demo that we already have if timing is very tight.
Perfect. Well, Stephen Toups, President and CEO of Cleargistix, thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Microbes at Work, sharing a little bit more about your partnership with JGL Solutions and also how you're digitally transforming the oil and gas industry. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Tyler. Enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And everyone, thank you for tuning into this episode of Microbes at Work. Make sure to go check out Cleargistix' website as well to learn more about them. And we really appreciate Stephen joining us for this episode of the program. So make sure to go check out their website to learn more. And of course, stay tuned for more episodes of the show. We'll be back soon. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts these days. Guarantee you can find Microbes at Work there to stay up to date with the latest from JGL Solutions. So do that. And we'll be back soon with those new episodes. But for my guest, Stephen Toups, I've been your host, Tyler Kern. Thanks for joining us today.